Welcome to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Burkeen.
Hi, everyone. You're listening to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm your host, Lee Burkeen. Our guest today is a legend. He's one of the first, I say kids, man. He's grown big time now. I mean, Craig Nall, former Alexandria Ash quarterback, former LSU quarterback, former Northwestern State quarterback, former Green Bay Packers. Craig, thanks for joining us all the way from McKinney, Texas.
Lee, thanks for having me on. It's been a while. Not the first, hopefully not the last time we get to catch up.
That's right. I'm going to throw some stats out there. Craig Nall was on the cover of our magazine back in the day. Born in Alexandria, attended Alexandria, as they call it, Ash High School, where he was a quarterback, threw for 5,038 yards and 38 touchdowns, and then went on to sign with LSU, finished and had a great career at Northwestern State in Natchitoches, had a long career in the NFL, Green Bay Packers. I forgot, you were with the Scottish Claymores in Europe. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did my time over in NFL Europe after my rookie season. It was really because I hadn't played a whole lot in college. You know, in the 5 years, I only started 12 games. So relatively inexperienced coming into the league. They found a system that fit what we were doing in Green Bay with coaches in Scotland and sent me over there. Really the last day that they could allocate is when I got the phone call after being told when we finished the season that, no, we're going to have you here in our camps and stuff. But lo and behold, I get a phone call saying, hey, you're going to Scotland tomorrow. Oh, great.
But it
was fun.
Then you went to Buffalo Bills. You were Houston Texans. Went back to Green Bay in 2007. Went back to Houston Texans in 2008. And then Florida. What was the Florida Tuskers in 2009? That was your last year to play pro ball.
Yeah, that was the UFL, the United Football League. It was a startup. I thought it had legs.
Yeah.
The head coach for the Florida team was Jim Haslett, and Jay Gruden was the offensive coordinator. Coach Haslett called me up one day and kind of explained that they had the rights to me. I think each team had like AFC and NFC South teams to choose from, and they can allocate or kind of reserve the rights to certain players. So me and Michael Vick were a part of that AFC South, NFC South region.
Okay.
I decided to play. Michael decided not to, which is fine. So it's kind of like getting drafted almost. You know, they kind of reserved the rights to me, but I didn't last. Like there was only 2 weeks of training camp, and then we went right into a season. And day 6, last play of practice, had a rollout down in the end zone. I threw a touchdown, but pulled my groin in the process. And the next day, he tried to practice and make handoffs and stuff, and I just couldn't quite get there. And then after practice, they called me up to the office and told me it was kind of end of the road with them. But I just quit getting opportunities. You know, towards the end of my career, I wasn't gaining any more experience on the field. I never got a chance to start in the NFL, yet my salary was going up. You know,
That's
so
good.
my next year would have been $800,000 was the minimum I could accept, and you know, no starting experience, kind of like they can get a couple of rookies for the same price. And, you know, so kind of just got phased out on the business side. It wasn't because of lack of ability or anything like that. I haven't seen my stats in the NFL, and I've played fairly well, but those opportunities just few and far between. You know, I wish it could have been longer, but at the same time, Lord blessed me to be there in the first place and to have, you know, a 7-year pension in NFL, you know, playing in the NFL. It's better than most, as they say.
And Craig, you know what really impresses me when you left LSU, you had a phenomenal career. Like I said, 12 games at Northwestern State. They still think of you as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever at Northwestern State, what you did in those 12 games. But when you were at LSU, probably the 3 best quarterbacks on a roster at one time in the history of LSU football, you, Rowan Davey, and Josh Booty.
Mm-hmm.
And then you came in with Herb Tyler, who did a lot of great things. But you played in the NFL. Josh Booty played for the Browns and the Raiders, and then Rowan had a ring or two with the Patriots. So, I mean, everybody basically did their own thing, and it seemed like it worked out for all 3 quarterbacks in some way or another. And then what's crazy, you remember this? Booty won the knuckleball contest on TNT like 10 years ago.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was throwing knuckleballs for like MLB, and they had a contest on TNT, and he won it nationally. But it's unique that, you know, Booty coming back from MLB, yourself, and then Rowan. I mean, I don't remember LSU having 3 quarterbacks and ended up playing in the NFL, all 3 quarterbacks that were there at the same time.
Josh came out a year before Rohan and I did, but he went in the 6th round, and Rohan was 4th round pick. I was 5th round pick. You know, so 4th, 5th, and 6th out of that group. I think it's pretty special and rare. It's unfortunate that only one guy can play at a time, you know, and it's just kind of the nature of the sport. You know, I wasn't backing away from competition, but eventually it's kind of like, well, I've got 1 year left to play, and it's not really working out here. Northwestern State gave me an opportunity there that I'll forever be grateful for, to let me, you know, come in and show what I could do, you know, and we had a pretty good season. You know, set a couple records along the way, I guess, but it was more a home away from home that I found in Natchitoches. They were just they embraced me very well, and you know, I'll forever be a Demon.
And not far from your hometown of Alexandria, not too far, skipping a hop from great town, Natchitoches. We'll take a break. When we come back, and later in the show, we're going to talk about your Elite 11 that you help run out of Texas, that you're part of your full-time job too. We'll mention that, give you a plug on your full-time real estate business and brokerage in Dallas, but also talk about, I want to ask you when we come back about the late Butch Stoker, your coach at Alexandria High School, and also about your thoughts on Brett Favre, how great you think Brett Favre was when you were with him in Green Bay. We'll be right back. We got more of Craig Nall, former quarterback for Northwestern State, LSU, and also the Green Bay Packers, played many years in the NFL. We'll be right back. Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. Welcome back. You're listening to Sports Scouting Report. Our guest today is Craig Nall. Very happy that he's joined us today out of McKinney, Texas, right outside of Dallas, Texas. And Craig, what's your thoughts about the late Coach Stoker that coached you at Alexandria High School? How special was he to you as your head coach in high school?
He's a legend, you know, in our community. Not only just on the sports side of things, but he handled so many things within the school system, with scheduling, fundraising, caring for, you know, for the community and the people around the wife and Athena. You know, they just mean so much. And to our family, specifically, you know, Coach Stoker believed in me at an early age and gave me an opportunity to get a start, but instilling in me the hard work and the discipline and everything that it takes, the toughness. You know, my freshman year, I did 3-a-days. I did practice with the freshmen, but also did 2-a-days with the varsity. You know, and for like 2 weeks, it really tested me, and I think it definitely helped and prepared me. It gave me a little taste of what varsity football is like in Louisiana, and they didn't take it lightly on, especially the seniors, you know. So I kind of had to earn my stripes, but then the next year having a chance to start, you know, and having a pretty decent season, kind of felt like, okay, now I think I can actually play this position a little bit. But he's definitely instrumental. His son, Scott, would come in and work with me during the summers, you know, so I owe a lot to Scott and my development as well, you know, a mentor of mine and somebody that took time out of his schedule to come work with me on how to throw the ball better, you know.
Yeah.
So the Stoker family is very near and dear to my heart.
I've got to mention this to you, and I know you're going to light up like a Christmas tree when I ask you this. You got to be some proud of Alexandria High School making the state championship game this past season, right?
Oh, man. I've watched the game here on TV. And, I mean, just to be there, you know, first time that our school's ever been in the championship game, you know, that's a feat in itself. But obviously you don't want to get there and not come home with the trophy. But what a phenomenal run and the things that Coach Bachman has done there over the last several years in building a program. You know, I could be more proud of what they're doing there. And, you know, maybe next year is the year. But it was a great run and a magical season. Hate to see it come to an end, though.
Yeah, I mean, what a job Coach Thomas Bachman's done. I mean, the former Evangel Christian receiver, Texas Tech receiver. I mean, he's a great teacher of these quarterbacks. Are you working with any of those guys, Craig, any of those Ash quarterbacks? They've got some good quarterbacks over there.
No, I haven't. Most of the traveling I'm doing is, for camps and things.
Yeah.
So I haven't really had the opportunity to get back home too often. Maybe once or twice a year, it seems like, just to visit the family. And I will be there sometime in May. My godson having first communion. So
all right.
I'll be in Louisiana, Alexandria. Got to go down to Lafayette for the service and everything. So I'll be in the area, but really just kind of an in and out type deal. It's unfortunate, but it's a 5-hour drive. It's not always easy to get over there. If any of the kids were able to make it over this way, I'll definitely will carve out time and because that's kind of what we do. We have private training business here, so we're working 3 days a week, and then camp's kind of on the weekends. Yeah,
we're going to talk about that heavily later in the show. Take a quick break. When we come back, before we talk about the Elite 11 and talk about your training in McKinney, Texas, and around Dallas, we'll talk also, let you plug what you're doing with your full-time job. And then we'll get back, and I'd like to ask you about Brett Favre, what you thought of Brett Favre as a quarterback. Obviously, he's a great quarterback, but your thoughts being his teammate in Green Bay. We'll be right back with more Craig Nall in just a second. Looking for a used car? Harvey Autos has 3 dealerships, which means 3 times the used vehicles. They've got everything from fuel-efficient compacts to luxury models, even hybrids, and certified pre-owned with a warranty. Check out John Harvey Toyota, Harvey Subaru, or Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City. Welcome back. You listen to the Sports Scouting Report. Our guest is Craig Nall, former quarterback from Alexandria High School in Northwestern State and LSU and the Green Bay Packers. And Craig, before we talk about the training and everything, what do you think of Brett Favre being his teammate for several years in Green Bay, and what kind of impact did he have on you with the game? And now that you're a guru training quarterbacks, we're going to get to that. But what kind of impact did he teach you as a quarterback?
Great teammate. Obviously in somewhat of a mentor role. It wasn't like he was carving out a lot of time to give me all his secrets, but kind of took me under his wing early on. When I got drafted there, I wasn't really expecting, only starting 2 games at LSU and 10 at Northwestern State. I was just hoping to get a chance to get on as a free agent somewhere. But Coach Sherman decided to pull the trigger and draft me in the 5th round. It was actually my 23rd birthday as well, so that was pretty special. Yeah. April 21st, 2002. Yeah. But then, I was like, oh, wow, it kind of hit me that, man, I'm going to Green Bay. I'm going to pack up Brett Favre, So the first time I met him, I was a little bit starstruck. I'm usually not that way, but this time it was kind of.
You're pinching yourself, huh? Like, whoa.
Yeah, meeting one of your heroes, And now that you're going to be working with him, it's like, how do I act? Do I call him Mr. Favre or is it, Brett or, whatever? I don't even remember what I said. First time I shook his hand. I remember his hand kind of swallowing mine, and I'm a pretty big guy myself, but it was very cool. The thing that I kind of took away after being with him for a number of years is really his professionalism and approach to his preparation. He was so he's really smart. I don't think people realize how bright he is, and his football IQ is just off the charts. I mean, we would be in install meetings for the game plan that week, and coaches used to talk about how well he was taking notes and all that stuff. And I'm sitting behind him, like, he's not taking notes. He's doing a crossword puzzle, And a lot of times in an hour, he would have it finished,
Wow.
So, but he would, the film study and his approach to practice day in and day out, when he stepped across the field on that, across the white lines, you knew what you were getting out of number 4 every time, which I think is kind of the beauty in his greatness, is the fact that he was really good all the time.
Yeah. And Craig, you're good with numbers, because when I was emailing you earlier today, I said, you said, let's go at 4 p.m. And you said, yeah, that's 4 things. And then you said, I played with a dude that wore number 4. And then you put 4 4s and you're number 16. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my mom's, I guess it's part of my mom coming out of me. She's always like, it's a sign, it's a sign. The stars are aligning and, so anyway, kind of given the option, I thought that was kind of cool. But I was also picked number 164 overall.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So, yeah, kind of neat. So.
And before we take a break, we're going to come back and talk about your training camps with quarterbacks in McKinney and Dallas. But you said you have a son coming up. What do you think about your son and his future? Will he be a quarterback? Will he play football?
Well, I've got 2 boys. One's 12 and 10. They're about to be 13 and 11. Both of them have been playing baseball for the last 4 or 5 years. My 12-year-old Matthew, he played football this year for the first time on his 7th grade team. Played tight end and safety. Didn't really know what he was doing, but he made the commitment. Didn't miss a practice. 6:30 a.m. workouts that I had to bring him to.
Wow.
He was also playing baseball in the fall and first chair saxophonist. So he's got a lot going on. Football is really not his thing right now, but we're in the spring baseball, and he's having a great season so far. And then Mason is the younger brother. Call him Pee Wee.
All right.
And he's kind of wants to do it all. He's played football. He's played tackle this past year for the first time. Baseball, basketball. He thought he was on a swim team at one point because he could swim better than his buddy. He's just, I call him my skinny me because he's super competitive. He wants to do everything. He thinks he's the best at it, and he's really talented. We also share the same birthday, which is kind of cool.
Oh, so, that is neat, man. That is neat.
Yeah.
And you got to be really sit back and in awe, man, I got 2 kids coming up, and it's just time has flown, and you get a chance to be a part of their lives and help them and mold them and as their dad and be a part of this, and with your background, which is going to help a lot. When we come back, we'll take one more break, and Craig, when we come back, talk about your training and get your thoughts at the end of the show about Nussmeier, who signed with LSU this year, the quarterback from the Dallas area.
Got it.
Doug Nussmeier's son from the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to be right back with more Craig Nall. So, hey, guys, just wanted to take a minute to tell you about Harvey Autos. If you need a new or used car, there's 3 great dealerships right here worth checking out. John Harvey Toyota, Harvey Subaru, and Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City. Low prices, honest people. Tell them Lee sent you. Welcome back. You listen to Sports Scouting Report. Our guest is Craig Nall, former quarterback, LSU and Northwestern State and Green Bay Packers. Craig, your full-time job, you told me, is commercial real estate and also business brokerage, ANA Brokers in Dallas. I want to give you a plug because we got some listeners in Texas. And also, you told me in McKinney for 14 years now, quarterback training. You're the head coach for the QB IQ Training Center in Dallas. You train quarterbacks 3 days a week, high school, college, pro clients. The website, www.qbsystem.com/Dallas. You're also the lead instructor for the Elite 11, which I didn't know that, man. Congratulations. This is your 9th year on the tour. And you said your stop is here in Dallas next weekend at Lamar Arlington High School. For the Elite 11. That's tell everybody about that. That's pretty neat. And people follow that Elite 11 heavily now.
Yeah, they do. I've been blessed to be on that staff for going on 9 years now. Our head coach is Trent Dilfer. He called me up back in 2013 after seeing a training session that I had done with a kid here in Frisco who didn't have any varsity tape, but you got to submit some type of film to be evaluated and ultimately invited. So he sent in one of those training sessions. And Coach Dilfer heard it, and it was like, man, who is this guy? He's speaking my language. I need him on my staff. And he had only been the head coach for the Elite 11, I think, for maybe a year or two up until this point.
Okay.
So kind of the face of it, and they're taking it nationally and doing a documentary. They're doing it big, right? So he gets the contact information from the dad and called me up and kind of gave me the vision. And I've done just about every event. I would say probably about 90% of the events from that day forward. There's been a few times where scheduling conflicts, or like this week, the Masters. I used to hate going to a camp on Masters weekend because I can't watch Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
So there's been a handful, maybe 10 over the last 9 years that I haven't done. But over the last couple of years, we had one of our head guys from Nike. They kind of kept him on campus, and he would coordinate our staff. So I've kind of assumed that role over the last 2 years, and it's been a blast. I hope to continue it for as long as they'll let me keep coming out there. But just getting a chance to impact some guys like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and Tua.
Yeah.
Nussmeier was one of the finalists last year. So some of the top talent, and it's been going on for 20-something years. So very prestigious and an honor to be a part of it.
I'm going to promote also, you got 2 events coming up on June 12th in Dallas and July 17th in Phoenix, Arizona. Go to www.theshootout.camp. The IG on that is @quarterbackshootout, SHOOTOUT. And I want to mention, what's your thoughts on Nussmeier with LSU? He's enrolled freshman. Does he remind you of anybody, Craig, that you've seen?
I've heard people make comparisons to kind of a Baker Mayfield. I think that kind of fits pretty well. He's a special kid. He's grown up around locker rooms with his dad being the level of coach that he's at, and he's moved all over the country. But the kid's really talented. He is probably better off platform or on the move, than maybe he is as a pure pocket passer. But he's definitely electric. He has great command when he's in the huddle. Super competitive, gets along great with everybody, but extremely hard worker, and just I think he's humble as well. So he kind of checks all the boxes. Now he's got some competition there at LSU with Finley and Max.
Yeah.
Those guys have also come through the Elite 11 and were finalists. There's also Walker Howard that just got invited to the Elite 11 finals. We saw him down in Houston last week. I know his dad, Jamie, from back in the day.
Yeah, I know. I know Jamie's a great guy. Great guy.
Yeah. So there's another one coming up right behind him. So the future, I think, looks great for LSU quarterbacks, where we've, it seems to be one of those positions that you just have the missing piece for so long.
Yeah.
And now, things that Burrow did, and hopefully this season we're able to kind of bounce back. Miles Brennan being there, a veteran leader. Hopefully you can get things kind of back on track. So I think the state of LSU quarterbacking looks pretty good, at least at the time, based on projection and talent and all that stuff. But hopefully we'll be able to identify some of those kids. You mentioned the shootout. I'm really excited about this. This is kind of an idea that me and a couple of buddies came up with after an experience at a camp that was something similar, but we wanted to take it bigger and better. So basically, you will have a quarterback and receiver sign up as a team, and you will play against another quarterback and receiver in a bracket-style tournament. So there's activities before you get on the field. The QBIQ system is a pre-snap reading system that teaches you how to identify coverage, understand what routes are good versus certain coverages, kind of rote memorization. So there's online classes. We have a workbook that you can use to translate into your system of what you're playing in. There's also a flashcard system which helps speed up your decision-making process and snap judgments, obviously things that quarterbacks need to be able to do. So they'll experience some of that stuff at the beginning. Then we'll have a little bit of a camp where we'll teach them the different throws that they're going to be expected to make once they get into the tournament. But then have kind of receiver quarterback head-to-head. Think of it like match play in golf, where you have a 9-hole match. So let's say there's 4 different routes they're going to throw. You'll get them 4 to the right, 4 to the left, and judge kind of on each throw.
Okay.
Give them a 1 or 2 or 3 if it was like a phenomenally placed ball and fingertip catch or something like that. and then award points, and whoever has the most points after that little 8-throw match play will advance to the next round.
You know what I like? You know what I like about that, Craig, is the evaluation part. Like you said, you got a number on it, and with your eyes and your experience and your God-given ability now to evaluate being a former player. And I've been doing it since '91, and I love to like receivers. I'll rank on hands, maybe a 9 out of a 10, and route running. I've got a system with 10 or 9 or 11, and just toughness, blocking as a receiver. But that's really good stuff, man.
Yeah, so then it'll kind of progress, and the format will change a little bit when you get into the Sweet 16, and then we're going to have a middle school and a high school division, so we'll have winners for both teams. It's something that's never really been done before. We have ideas of how to advance it and make it bigger and better. But man, we're going to food trucks, the DJ, some county fair games, probably cornhole, and just all kinds of fun stuff out there, and make it really a day of it. And let's see who ends up being the last man standing. So we kind of came up with the head-to-head, like a duel. So the shootout, the shootout at the QB corral or whatever. We're just having a lot of fun with it. When a kid actually registers on social media, we're putting out little wanted posters with some stuff saying last seen headed to the shootout. We're just trying to have a lot of fun with it and, make some money in the process. But we're going to have recruiting services out there, helping evaluate the talent, and maybe somebody gets noticed. Maybe there's a hidden gem that comes to this tournament and ends up doing very well. A no-star guy that takes out a 5-star guy. I mean, that would be awesome headlines. So giving out opportunities to go out and compete. That's really what it's all about. The Elite 11, we talk about always competing in everything that you do, regardless if it's football related or just in life or being a leader in your community. Always compete to be better. So that's kind of where that came about, and we'll see where it leads to.
Craig, let me mention again, June the 12th in Dallas, in July 17th in Phoenix, Arizona, and they can go to the shootout.camp or the IG at QB Shootout, or they can do a Twitter you at quarterback1, number 1 sports.
Yeah, QB1 Sports is by Twitter. Instagram is cnall16. But yeah, you can get on the shootout.camp and register and pay right there, and come out and have some fun. So location, I think, is pretty much settled, but we'll make an announcement pretty soon. I think it's going to be out kind of in the Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
So it should be a great afternoon, and then head to Phoenix in July. So,
Craig, I got a guy that you need to get there. I think he's a 5-star, but he's not even ranked 4-star. There's a kid that's a quarterback, led his team to a state championship this year in Louisiana from Madison Prep. You know the kid I'm talking about?
I don't know. I don't think so.
His last name is Chris. He's about 6'2", about 210. He reminds me a little bit of Donovan McNabb back in the day.
Yeah.
And he's the biggest sleeper quarterback in the country. Great poise, great arm, can throw the out pass, can run. Doesn't run a lot, but can when needed, and you can't get to him.
Mm-hmm.
But Keon Chris, remember that name, Chriss.
Got it.
It's class of 222. He is a unbelievable quarterback. He's starting to get some D1 offers, but he's a guy that could actually win these events, I think.
Well, I look great. Look forward to checking him out. Sounds like he's a sleeper, as you say.
Yeah, he's got, and then he took his team to the state championship game this year. I had a chance to see him in 3 games prior to that championship game, and he's just got that it factor, I mean, you rush him, you can't get him. I mean, and he makes plays on the run that it's just, kind of like Tebow-ish, kind of a little bit like Johnny Manziel.
Mm-hmm.
And true 6'2", 210, has a great GPA, over a 3.5 student. Great leader, soft-spoken kid, great kid. But, yeah, that's the guy that I like. I saw all the schools play in Louisiana last year. He's the guy that I think at quarterback's the sleeper among a lot of. Another quarterback that I like is a kid by the name of Cole, Cole Poirier, from Santa Maria High School, 6'3", 190 pounds. One of the most athletic big quarterbacks in the state. A dual threat guy, a cannon arm, and an incredible runner that I think's a diamond in the rough in the class of 222. I mean, I like Holstein. What do you think of Holstein at Zachary? I think he's going to be a great one.
Yeah, I think so too. I haven't had a chance to really watch too much of his film, but the game that Ash played against, it was a bit of a shootout as well. So he's got a chance. I talked with Todd McClure through kind of Facebook and all that stuff, and we had a little bit of a wager there. He hasn't paid up yet, but
you got to.
Yeah, he's there in the Zachary community.
You got to. It reminds me, I lost my bracket in the NCAA championship. I got to pay up too. I forgot.
Gotcha.
But I hear Holstein's leaning to Texas A&M right now. So
okay.
Jimbo Fisher's on him hard, and then obviously we all know about Arch Manning.
Yeah.
And like you said, Walker Howard. What a crew of quarterbacks. And there's others. There's others quarterbacks coming up. There's a kid in Shreveport at Captain Shreve too to take a look at. That's about 6'3", 220 with a cannon arm too, Craig, at Shreveport at Northwood High School.
Yeah. So speaking of kind of quarterbacks in Shreveport, I've started working with General Booty a little bit, Abram's son.
Okay.
Abram and I came in at LSU the same year, and obviously I've competed against Josh. But General was the starting quarterback at Allen this year. He's going to a junior college in the summer over in Tyler.
Yeah.
So he's kind of working a little bit after, gets out of school, I guess, and then he's been training with us a little bit. So kind of full circle on that deal. He's looked great. We've helped him with a couple things, but obviously comes from a very talented family, and it's been great working with him. Yeah,
Abram was on the show a month ago. Abram came on and told us about it. It's crazy. You played with Josh Booty, his uncle, which is crazy, and now the brother has hired you to train his son. That's cool, man. That's really neat.
Yeah.
And there's another quarterback, Landry Liddy at Calvary Baptist, that I think you need to work with. He threw for over 3,500 yards this past year at Calvary, and they won a state championship in Shreveport.
Nice.
Landry Liddy.
Got it.
Great quarterback at Calvary Baptist in the 222 class. Craig, any last thoughts about telling the parents that are listening, any recruits, you want to talk about anything else we didn't mention to help you?
Well, a little bit about A&A brokerage. I think kind of skip just a little bit on that. I've been doing it for a little bit over 3 years. On the commercial side of things, I know the residential market's pretty hot, but one thing I haven't mentioned, I got a food product I've been working on for a number of years, and that kind of got me into this business in a way. I was looking for a bakery to kind of assume a lease or something like that. And my buddy that used to work at the golf course over here by the house, I called him up because I knew he was in real estate or something. And so we got to talking, and he's like, well, we don't have anything currently, but man, if you're looking for something to do, I think you'd be great at this business. So I kind of go in and interviewed, and I was licensed back in 2010 when we kind of first moved here to the Texas area, and I got a little bit distracted and started doing something else. Didn't really know the lay of the land. So real estate, maybe I'll come back and do it. So I let my license lapse, but full circle, been doing it a little over 3 years now. More kind of like a restaurant with real estate or gas stations, office spaces, tenant representation. So that's kind of the commercial side of things. But business brokerage, which a lot of people don't realize, you sell businesses. We represent the seller, and through our marketing campaigns and our network and our buyer reach here in the DFW market, we find buyers for that business.
Okay.
So a lot goes into it based on, cash flow, equipment, all that type of stuff. So anything like coin laundries do very well. We have a lot of things that are food related in restaurants. Automotive has been doing really well over the last year or two. So really kind of all over the map. It definitely keeps me busy. I wish it would keep me fed a little bit more, but
right.
Sometimes you just got to tough out, tough markets.
Yeah.
But so I've been working from home for the last year or so. I've got a couple deals in the works now, but obviously busy with football and scratching my coaching itch by traveling around, doing all the camps and being able to work with kids here locally. But I kind of mentioned the pro clientele earlier. I had the opportunity to work with Ian Book this past couple of months.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but he's my favorite quarterback in college football, Craig.
Is he? Yeah, he was great to work with. His agent, Tim Younger, decided to send him here to Michael Johnson's Performance to prepare him for, we call it combine prep, even though there wasn't really a combine this year, but getting him ready for his pro day. And that facility is 6 miles from my house.
Okay.
So through a mutual coaching friend of Will Hewlett, he called me up and asked if I would be willing to work with him for the 6 weeks that he was going to be here. So 3 days a week, getting a chance to work with him. He was great. I've got nothing but respect for him. He came to work every day, ready, focused. He knew what he wanted to do. Down to earth guy. He was humble, pretty smart. He was a dream to work with. So,
and Ian Book to me is Houdini. I mean, he's not, but what, 6 foot something, 190 maybe.
He's 6 foot, about 205, 210.
And but he's got this uncanny ability to just get away from pressure and make things happen.
I think he's a little bit more mobile, kind of Drew Brees type.
Yeah, great comparison. He's just Craig. He's just got something. He's got that it factor, and I think he'll be a great sleeper in the draft. I would draft him if I was an owner. I think he was Notre Dame this year.
Yeah, I've got I texted his agent last night, just kind of catch up. I haven't talked with him since Ian left a couple weeks ago, but he is, I think, going to jump up the board a little bit. I haven't really seen much video from his pro day, but just the fact that the way that these trades and everything are kind of working out, it seems like there's going to be more quarterbacks taken at the top end of the draft, which will make those remaining QBs a little bit more scarce as you get down into the later rounds.
Yeah.
So I think maybe 4th round-ish, maybe even late 3rd. But the kid's a proven winner. He works extremely hard. I think I would trust him in any NFL quarterback room, and not only just being able to handle his own, but, be a serviceable backup at some point and maybe a spot starter like a Chase Daniel or somebody like that.
Yeah. And I like Trask, the Texas native. Trask is
I do too.
I think he might end up being as good as any of them in the draft. I like
my
him.
good friend, Brian Thiebaud has worked with Kyle, kind of from an early age. Brian's down at Dripping Springs and the coaching staff there, but, so, and then through working with Ian at MJP, JT Barrett has been around. So I've had a chance to start kind of working with him a little bit. He's a free agent and trying to get on somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I want to be. If I could do it full time, that would be awesome, but I know it's a very seasonal deal.
Yeah.
I don't really necessarily want to get into a regular coaching job. That have to stop a lot of other things and just kind of focus on that. I really enjoy being home with my boys and seeing their development and helping out with their youth teams. If I were coaching in a college, I wouldn't have time for that. And, chances are you're probably going to have to move,
Yeah.
Whether you're doing good or bad. It's just the nature of the business. And we really like where we live here in McKinney. It's close enough to home to where grandparents can visit and come in for the weekend, but far enough away where we don't see him every day,
And Craig, I'm proud of you, man. I mean, I met you when you were a teenager at Alexandria High School when you were on our magazine cover. You were on our cover back in like the early 90s. I mean, like 93 or 94, but just keep grinding, man, because look, the magazine that we have now after 25 years, the first 10 years, I told a guest the other day I was eating bologna without bread or bread without bologna, so. But I'd loved it, and we continue to grind to this day, family owned. But I think you've done a phenomenal job molding and training these young men as quarterbacks, and I think you're on to something. And look, as far as selling businesses, I think today's show, I mean, you have an advantage. You're in Texas. You could have Texas buyers for Louisiana buyers.
Yeah.
I
can sell business anywhere. It's different than real estate. It's more like used car sales than anything, I would say. In that, you got people that they own a business for 10, 12 years. Some of the equipment's going out, and it's like, all right, it's got enough miles on it. I'm going to dump it off to somebody else. But they want what they bought it for,
right?
Or whatever. It doesn't work that way. We say we sell cash flow. So if the business is making money, and there's profitability, and asset-based transaction, That's kind of what we do. So I don't know. It's been a great ride, but I can do that in any state. I don't have to be licensed to be a business broker. So it's a little bit kind of Wild West.
Yeah.
But our firm, we're very professional. There's about 10 of us that are full time. We have a general manager that's been doing it for 35 years, and a great reputation. So anabrokers.com is the website. You can reach me at cnall@anabrokers on email.
And I want to mention one more time for your two events, the shootout events, the OK Corral, June 12th.
The QB Corral.
Yes. June 12th in Dallas.
I think it might. Yeah, I don't want to say the name of it because I think it's going to be in the Fort Worth area.
Okay. So we'll say June 12th.
The date is set, correct? Yeah, because we've already been marketing the date. June 12th. It's a Saturday. We'll be out there from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It'll be a great, fun family atmosphere, but competition and head-to-head tournament that's never been done before.
In July 17th.
Then another.
Yeah, July 17th in Phoenix, Arizona.
Correct. Yep, and all that information will be posted, if it's not already, at theshootout.camp. You can go there online and register. Follow us on Instagram. It'll be fun.
And Twitter. Don't forget to check Craig out if your mom or dad wanting to enroll and sign up. Go to Twitter at Quarterback1 Sports. QB1 Sports.
There you go.
And the ones put the one in there as like number one. Craig, enjoyed, man, having you come on. It's been a while. I got to catch some of these camps. Hopefully one day I can come and see these guys. I mean, I don't evaluate out of state. I do Louisiana, but I would love to see these camps that have kids from all over the country. And look, man, just keep grinding. I mean, you're with great people. Trent Dilfer, the guys that you mentioned, training Ian Book. I mean, those are great avenues. You're in the right. You're going the right direction to be big time in this. So really am proud of you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Just thankful for the opportunities. The reason I do it, obviously, is to help the future generation of quarterbacks. And other kids that are coming up. I just want to be able to give it back like most guys do, and kind of flexible schedule, be able to have my hands in a number of different cookie jars. But the Elite 11, it's elite11.com. You can check out the schedule there. A lot of times we have a stop in New Orleans. I don't think we do this year, but elite11.com, you can kind of check out what we're doing there and where we'll be over the next few weeks.
Craig, appreciate it. Don't hang up. We're going to end the show. Don't hang up. But everybody go to our website, lafootballmagazine.com. You can pre-order the 2021 preview issue. We're working on that right now in all 300 high schools, all 12 colleges. I've been doing it since Craig Nall was in high school at Alexandria High School back in the day. Ash High School in Alexandria. Craig, thank you, man. And we appreciate everybody listening today. Don't hang up again, Craig, but we'll see you on Wednesday. We'll see everybody on Wednesday.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.